guys. Andrea Strange, Public Outreach Coordinator for Warren County Stormwater, back again with
Matt Powell, Environmental Manager with the City of Bowling Green, who has no idea what to do with his hands as we start one of these videos.
That's why mine are always here. So today we are at the Church Karst window somewhere off Elrod Road in Warren County.
Alright, so when we say karst window, that's not a term that everybody uses every day, but what that is we're in an area that directly lies above a cave passage that many thousands of years ago collapsed as a sinkhole. Because there's such a strong current of water flowing through that particular passage, all of the stuff that fell down eventually got washed away down through the cave system. So what's left is that sinkhole that fell in, but all the stuff removed, so now we have a window into the cave system. We can see both the upstream side where Lost River emerges, and then all the way down to the downstream side where Lost River goes away. This is a pretty fascinating place, and it's really indicative of the kinds of things that are come with the geology and the geologic structure that we have here in Warren County. We'll walk you over and show you this thing from the top, and then we'll eventually kind of work our way down to the bottom and show all of it to you, but all kinds of neat things here. The history goes back to
the Native Americans. We don't know exactly when, but we know that the Native Americans were the first people to enter Church Karst window.
We found all kinds of flint artifacts around the area, and those artifacts are probably the result of those folks using the exposed St. Louis limestone here, which has a chert layer or chert nodules in it. They can fashion those artifacts and those tools out of those chert nodules. And then there's an actual chert layer, the Cordon chert, which underlays the very bottom of this cave where they could have captured that material and brought it to use.
When this cave was mapped, the property was owned by the Church family, and that's how it got the name Church Karst window.
And beginning with that history all the way back with the Native Americans utilizing the resources here, in their case they were using the chert to fashion tools. There was also historically the Lost River here was used for irrigation water by the Borden Dairy Farm. And some of the remnants of that operation are still here. We're standing in a pump station all the way at the top of the hill, and we can show you some of the pipe works and stuff that still kind of remains below. It's all kind of gradually being erased by time, but there's still some indicators here of the long history of the use of this place.
And Matt mentioned Lost River. This cave is connected to Lost River Cave. So the water that we're going to show you down there is part of Lost River.
Yeah, absolutely. It is the Lost River stream upstream of Lost River Cave and Valley. It's going to gather more water as it moves down through here.
All right, you guys ready to check it out? Let's go. Yesterday, so the water's moving fast and it's a little higher than normal as well. Church Karst window was, or not just the window, but the entire cave behind us was mapped in 1987, and they mapped 3,127 linear feet. So that number of feet is what is navigable, where we can actually go inside and travel.
Right. Well, we leave that to the experts. A cave like this is particularly dangerous because of the water aspect. That both causes the oxygen levels to drop as you wind up with decreased headspace, and then of course just the physical hazard of drowning or being trapped by the water. It's one of my favorite places in Warren County to come to. I get to come out here about 4 times a year because this is one of our ambient monitoring locations. The City of Bowling Green collects water samples here that we then compare to water samples that we take at other locations, so that we can kind of determine what sort of an impact that our community has had on these groundwater resources as it's moving through our community. This is upstream of the city, so we compare this to the downstream side and we see what those distinctions are. One last thing we'll do before we leave is I did bring the proper headgear and some illumination, so we'll take a look up into the entrance of the passage and just give you an indicator of what that looks like. Okay, so here we are at the upstream actual passageway for Church Karst window. This is the very beginning of the portion of the cave that didn't collapse during this ancient sinkhole collapse. And we can look back up in and see the stream as it comes down through. So we're just using a couple of thousand lumens from my headlamps to take a look. But there is the cave passage upstream of where the actual collapse occurred. And even though we had all of that tremendous rain yesterday, well over an inch, you can see that the water here is already pretty clear due to the processes by which it flows down through the cave stream and gets down here. Very, very, very important that we look out for these stormwater resources, because people can have a tremendous impact on what this water looks like as it carries down pollutants that we leave around down into these cave systems.
Okay, so we are down in the cave, and Matt is doing this because he's an experienced professional, and I'm staying out of the water because I'm not. But he's going down in the creek, and he's going to try to find some crawfish.
Found some crayfish, a nice big healthy one, super gorgeous little guy, and very angry, but not colorless. There are colorless crayfish in this cave system, which is why I wanted to take a peek and see if I can find one. But what we came up with was some other species. This one does have color, but very healthy, very active, and very angry. So we're going to let him go. Down there.
All right, so we have just exited Church Karst window, and we're on our way up to the top now.
Yep. This place is absolutely fantastic. We wish it was open to the public or something like it, but we felt like it was important for you guys to see exactly how it is that our surface water and groundwater here are so directly interconnected, and how what we do at the top has an immediate impact on what happens underneath. And once there's a pollutant or a piece of trash or something floating around down here, there's very little that we can do to remove it.
Yep.
And this is one of the precious natural resources that make Bowling Green what it is. So hope you learned something today, and hopefully you thought it was a cool video.
Thanks, guys.